Straight from the SEC website right before it went down. Oh my goodness.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We are live. I will tell you guys, you're all saying the SEC website is down, but I am on the SEC website. It is not down. I don't see an announcement. However, every place else that I look says that the spot 11 spot ETFs are approved. I will tell you right now, I remain skeptical. I know that it's a media blitz that this has happened, but this is the lowest volume trading, which means that upon the biggest event in the history of Bitcoin, things people have been talking about every single day, all day for months and months and months, exactly nobody is trading on the news, buying or selling, which I find difficult to believe. So maybe it's because they got spooked yesterday with the fake out and they're waiting for confirmation. I don't know. What do you guys think? Are we 100% sure this is real, George? What's your opinion?
Should I call this guy Scott Schrader? He's the Office of Public Affairs.
What,
I have his number right here. You want me to do it?
Give him a call. Office for who? The SEC?
Yeah.
Well, if this is true, then
it'd be interesting if he answers. Let's see if he answers. This will be funny. I'm calling him.
I feel like whoever you're calling is getting a million phone calls right now.
I'm still calling.
Hello. Thank you for calling the Office of Public Affairs at the
Oh, George is calling.
Yeah.
If you're an investor or other member of the public who needs help with a problem.
While George is doing that, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Bitcoin Spot ETF live stream. So technically, if this is what we think it is, and it seems like it is, then this was approved actually just before the market closed, which, you know, we did a members only live stream yesterday, and I don't think anybody was predicting that was going to be the outcome. So I'm still waiting. I mean, you can see, well, you can't see because I don't have the screen up.
There's nothing even on Twitter. There's nothing on Instagram.
There's almost no volume. The amount of volume right now is just the same as it pretty much has been, you know, on a regular basis. Now, yesterday when we got a fake out, the volume was 10 times this amount. And the volatility was monumental. So I don't know what to think. I mean, maybe we should just take good news for what it is. I'll go here. You know, if I go like this, so I went and I did this yesterday. We did a members only live stream during the fake out yesterday. You know, that's our normal members only live stream time. So in the middle of that, early on in that, actually, there was the big fake out. I went to Google and there was no news. So, you know, I was very skeptical yesterday, and that's why I'm a little hesitant today. Although, you know, today when I do a Google search, so when I did a Google search yesterday, there was not one thing. And then eventually one thing popped up, which was Anthony Pompliano's Twitter feed, which was just reiterating that he saw, you know, the SEC's Twitter feed, which turned out to be compromised, if you will. We'll definitely talk about that more later. Also, welcome everybody, and if you could be so kind, if everybody could please smash the like button. It helps the live stream out in real time,
so
big time.
From Grayscale, this is Frank.
I saw that, but unfortunately,
I'm happy to confirm that Grayscale team has received necessary regulation approval to uplist BTC to New York State. You know what it says. Okay.
So my problem with that is, like, I did see that, but maybe some of you are familiar with the personnel of Grayscale, but I am not. So I don't know who that person is, and they confirmed that. But so maybe that's all true. And here, Reuters confirmed it. US SEC approves 11 spot BTFs. CNBC, the spot Bitcoin.
Why wouldn't they put a press release on the SEC website?
There's nothing on Twitter, although at this point, I think that probably intentionally won't put anything on Twitter. There was nothing on their website. I was on the press release page of their website. They didn't have one. They didn't issue a press release. So, you know, I don't know. Maybe that's a press release they'll do tomorrow. The one,
Right.
you know, if I scroll down, the one thing that I see that's running with this is Reuters here. I'll press refresh and
Well,
see if there's.
I can tell you one thing: trading volume has now picked up.
The block says, all right, let's switch back here, and it's still tiny. The trading
Pick it up.
volume is
Picking up.
it's picking up, like, you know, the
Let's put it
trading
this
in
way,
the
it's
last.
not picking up like a ETF was approved.
I see 20 15-minute candle volumes that are the equal to the last two that we just had since this announcement was made. So that, you know, I'm not trying to be negative. I think, you know, there seems to be a lot of evidence that this is happening. So US SEC approves 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs. I mean, this came out 9 minutes. This came out at 4:05. And I think that it happened before that, including those. Okay, so did they say where they got? I mean, this is it. This is the whole article. So, and
Yeah.
let's do a quick poll. Am I just
No, I understand your reservation, but I just don't. Yeah, Tom, quit being negative. That's from Edmund. I don't think he's being negative.
Admin, remember,
being
I'm the one,
cautious.
when everybody was celebrating on the live stream yesterday, I was the one who said, hold on a second, guys. Let's wait until we can confirm this, because I don't see any confirmation. So I didn't make this motto up. Trust but verify, right? We need to know that this is real, and this should be a little more glowingly obvious. Like, this was the event of the history of cryptocurrency, and I'm still a little baffled that, you know, what I'm looking at, nobody's really trading it.
Well, would they be able to trade it after hours, Tom?
Bitcoin trades 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
No. The spot ETFs.
No, the ETFs aren't up and running yet, but I'm looking at Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin had a drastic reaction to the upside and the downside in minutes yesterday when this was fake announced. Today, you could hear a pin drop right now. Admin is saying it is confirmed. I know, but 20 people told me that yesterday. And I'm not saying it's not confirmed. I'm just saying, like, the SEC website doesn't say that. Right now, I got the block says it's true. I got...
And not only that, this form that they sent out isn't, you know, I put it on my Twitter.
Spot Bitcoin ETF receives official approval. This is Cointelegram. So I don't know.
Maybe they just gave it to them and they're going to give it to us tomorrow, because you know how much they want to protect the investors.
The SEC said it has approved proposals for spot Bitcoin ETFs on an accelerated basis. This was on the block 29 minutes ago. I don't know why I'm unable to do a poll. I think I need to get tech support in here again. Oh, hold on. Now I got it. Here's a super simple question. Is the spot ETF approved? Do we believe this news? I only ask this because we spent 20 minutes yesterday confused, believing something happened that didn't happen. This would appear to be true. You know, so again, I'm not anybody that thinks I'm being negative. Listen, I am the Bitcoin bull, like, and I do think these are inevitable, and it looks like it has happened right now. But we have less information today than we did yesterday. Yesterday, we had word directly from the SEC. Today, we don't even have that. So, thoughts?
I don't know. I mean,
okay,
CNBC
said, somebody in the chat said, CNBC said it wasn't done yet about 10 minutes ago.
You would think that they could.
Edmund said, Edmund, I mean, I'm sorry. We've gotten a lot of definitive statements. Edmund said, I did not tell you it is confirmed. ARC, Grayscale, Reuters, etc. have received the approval, period. If you are correct, I am glad. We've got some, we've got 20+% of the people that are still skeptical, and I understand why. I mean, don't you think this should be a little more clear? And don't you, after all of this, there's no trading on this? Is that how this, isn't that curious? Or is it just me? Am I crazy?
Edmund, if you're waiting, well, then how come yesterday, Edmund, they immediately said that was false? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't they put something up on Twitter today if it's true?
That's right. Yesterday, when the news came out, Gary Gensler immediately responded. So now they've said nothing either way. Listen, guys, let's keep talking. We'll keep looking. We'll keep talking. We'll have the poll going. 23% of the people are still not sure that this is approved here on the stream. I want to thank everybody for coming on the stream. We're going to pay close attention to this. If and when we can get a little more confirmation, we will celebrate this, because obviously this is a monumental day. This is, in my opinion, the biggest thing that's ever happened to Bitcoin. And, I want to talk about the long-term impact of this, because to me, the impact of this will continue to go on, from this moment forward, for the rest of time. So I definitely want to talk more about this. Midway said it's now on the SEC website. So let's look at that, because I will not assume it's a second hack. Papa D said the trade is halted. Big boom coming. All right. I don't know on which exchange. I see it looks like on Coinbase, it is still trading, but maybe there are some exchanges where it's halted. Now it's mainstream. People dump to put into the ETF. The real Gary Gensler said it is not on the SEC website. So we have one person that said it is on the SEC website, and then somebody responded and said it's not on the SEC website. Do you guys think this is exactly what they want? Do you think this is exactly what Gary Gensler and company and, BlackRock, etc., wants, is just mass confusion, which is what they provided yesterday? Let there be no doubt. Yesterday was mass confusion. And now, today, it leaves us with a little bit, or at least me, and 23% of the people in the poll, at least when they voted, were a little skeptical. That number is actually going up. Justin said, calm down. The only thing my only answer to that is 99.9% of the times you tell somebody to calm down,
it pisses them off.
What typically ends up, I'm a pretty calm person, so I don't care. But historically speaking, if you tell somebody to calm down, usually the opposite happens. I have a screenshot of approvals from the SEC website. That is from Crypto Fever before it went down. That is confusing to me, because I was on the SEC website and it was not down. And I was looking around at their front page, at their press release page just a few minutes ago, and there was nothing.
So CleanSpark is only up 0.15%. You would think more people would believe it.
This is what I'm saying. Nothing is. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at the big dog. Marathon is
down.
So Marathon's trading down. That almost leads me to, believe that people are buying into this, because there was a little bit of a sell the news situation on the fake out yesterday. So let's just visit a few of these. Let's look at the big ones. We got Marathon. Conversely, Riot is up. We'll go to the big three first. Ooh. CleanSpark is up.
Oh, that just happened. That popped.
Bitfarms is sideways, finished at $3 even, and remains there. Okay, so somebody's saying Bitcoin looks like it's trading again. let's assume, let's do this. Let's assume for the moment this is true. Is that fair? What?
No, Robert said, Tom, I saw your Bills game picture. You didn't appear calm.
I don't know what that picture was. George took an unauthorized candid picture, and actually we were just having a very, very nonchalant, meaningless conversation. I don't have any idea why it looked like that.
That was the action, the passion of Tom.
Well, I will say that I can get passionate when having conversations. That is true. We've got somebody saying, hi there. Can you please elaborate what is the ETF? So we will definitely, absolutely, positively elaborate on that in the next few minutes. We will go through and quickly talk about what is a Bitcoin ETF. I know that the vast majority of you probably know what that is. But I think it's worth spending a minute talking about because, yes.
I don't even know what a Bitcoin is.
Well, I understand.
And what are these Satoshis? What are those?
What is any of this?
And what are they doing in my Bitcoin?
What's going on?
Look at Hive. Hive finally popped up 5% after hours. Finally.
Did it pop after hours? Hive, our friends to the north, George and I grew up just near the border of the U.S. and Canada. So, Bitfarms, Hive, and CleanSpark. I'm sorry, Bitfarms, Hive, and Hut. We're all having a really good day today. So Hive was up 5% on the day. Are you saying it's up after hours as well?
No, it's not. Post market's only 0.23.
Okay, so a little bit up, but this is pretty encouraging stuff. Yesterday, on the fake out, everything tanked. I mean,
this is encouraging.
You don't?
No.
Okay.
After hours, these guys haven't moved at all. Do you know how much money these people trade these stocks? I mean, it's crazy. Anybody that knows anything would be buying this.
Okay. What did you tell me that you thought was going to happen today?
Oh, by the way, I bought back in again and bought more.
You're a wild man.
I got nervous.
We'll have to. George is going to have to tell his tale today of what he did. You thought this was going to be a massive sell the news situation.
I think it's going to be a massive sell the news situation. Yes, I do.
So just what? So will you amend your previous statement that you think that this? I said this is pretty good action.
I didn't
We're
sell
little
any
green.
I didn't sell any of my stocks, only my Bitcoin. But then I bought them back.
I hope you didn't. I hope you did not have to pay a lot of fees. I know you have some amount that you get to trade without paying fees there because you got a membership or whatever.
Fees waived for me.
The fees are waived.
Because I have so many Bitcoin, they waive the fees.
Let's take a moment and welcome everybody to the live stream. Thank you, everybody, for showing up to our Bitcoin Spot ETF live stream. I am now going under the assumption that this is real. I was skeptical for several minutes because of the fact that we were faked out yesterday, but we are all right. We talk about Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners all the time on this channel. We have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of deep dives on the Bitcoin miners. And we go through Bitcoin, and we're going to talk about what a Bitcoin Spot ETF is, and I'm going to talk about why I'm so unbelievably bullish for Bitcoin in the year 2024 and the year 2025, specifically because of this news. I do think there are several other massive catalysts coming for Bitcoin in the next year, but this is going to be the gift that keeps on giving for all time, in my opinion. So,
all right, welcome to
one of the reasons I wanted to have this stream today, we were going to find out one way or the other was in the event that there was a sell-off. I want to go through why I don't care what happens in the first 24 hours, 48 hours. They can even manipulate things potentially up to a week, if you will. We're getting a lot less action than I expected. So still, let me go to a different chart here. Let's go to a different thing and see if we got some more.
Hashtag not confirmed.
I'm not seeing the volume on this one. Fortune Hunter. Thank you. That is our newest member. Fortune Hunter just joined. Welcome aboard. So Fortune Hunter, there is a bunch of members-only videos that you can check out. We have a membership on the channel. It's only $5. If you are new here, you can become a member by hitting the join button on the YouTube page. If you don't see that button, there's a link in the description. I just want to let people know, we have recently, in the last, including this week, we've done members-only deep dive, and we do all different videos. The members pick videos for me to do a deep dive on, but we have done a bunch of Bitcoin miners. We did a members-only deep dive on Hive, on BitDigital, Cypher, Stronghold, BitDeer, and then this is not a Bitcoin miner, but we also did a deep dive on MicroStrategy. So Fortune Hunter, those will all be sitting there waiting for you. Once you join, you have access to all the content. So again, join if you want. It's only $5 a month. It does help our small channel. Otherwise, please feel free. If you are interested in Bitcoin, if you're interested in the Bitcoin miners, you can subscribe to the channel. That is, of course, free, and we would appreciate it. Helps our live stream out a lot in real time. If you would be so kind as to smash the like button, it does help the live stream out. It helps the channel out, so it is much appreciated. Let's spend a minute. Let me just make sure I didn't miss any.
Dude, I'm so excited now. Oh, and I think before the end of this stream, we should definitely figure out which one of these, as a group, we can do another poll and who's the best value right now as it sits.
As far as the Bitcoin miners go.
As far as the Bitcoin miners go, yes, sir.
Yes, we did do. Did we do that on our members only, or did we do that? No, we did that on the big live stream.
That was like last Friday.
Yeah, so
we did that last Friday.
So we'll do that again. So let's just quickly go through. I mean, you can see this big candle right here, this big red candle. This was the fake out yesterday. I'm on the 15-minute time frame. So this is Bitcoin on the 15-minute time frame. The first reaction was, for just, a couple of minutes, we ran up to just under 48,000, and then a big sell-off. And then by the end of these two candles, somewhere around here, everybody figured out that, that news wasn't real. And we kind of went sideways ever since. And the reality is, if you look at what's happening right now, like, this is still sideways. Everybody was expecting, is this going to be to the moon? Is this going to be, a giant sell the news dump in the short term? And so far, this is absolutely nothing. We're almost completely sideways. Now, I don't know if some trading is halted. I don't know. So we're gonna stay on the stream for a while and see how this plays out, because, for those of you who are, day trading this or swing trading this, let's see how this all plays out. But again, to me, I'm gonna go through why I'm not day trading or swing trading this. I did buy a little bit of protection in the case of an emergency, but if there was a dip, it was my intention to buy the dip. So this would not be considered a dip, in my opinion. We'll see. I may dollar cost average in. I'll talk more about, how I trade. None of this is financial advice, of course, from either myself or George. And let's introduce ourselves. I think we have a bunch of new people. So first of all, I want to say thank you to Farmer for the super chat. It is much appreciated. Thank you. And Old Jock said Gary's using the mail service, second class, obviously. So, and Papa D, Gree is going to take off more than any miner. I think I missed one other. So thank you for the super chat, Papa D. And who I thought I missed somebody. Oh, the real Gary Ginsler said, what a pie show this is. WTF. I don't know if he's talking about our stream or this whole situation of announcing the ETFs.
So I have a question. How many of the ETFs are already trading, Tom?
None of the Bitcoin spot ETFs are trading, but
what about Grayscale?
The Grayscale is a trust, so that is different. Now, they will be, according to this, they will now be an ETF. So let's look at, this was an article.
It's up 3.77% right now.
So, and there was a tiny little bit of a discount left, so that's probably evaporated. Okay, so this was at 244 this afternoon.
Wow.
CBOE says the Bitcoin ETFs to start trading Thursday, though the SEC has not yet approved them. So these were all, you could see these. A lot of people thought this was approved a long time ago because you could see that their tickers, but that did not mean that they were approved. Everything was prepped and ready. It looks to me, and I still, we're going to keep digging into this and get to the bottom. It looks to me like there's going to be 11 spot ETFs that you will be able to buy tomorrow. So that is what it is looking like. Elena is asking, why are all the miners in red on the ETF news, guys? So we're going to talk about that because I do, some of this, there's a little bit of an opportunity for them to knock Bitcoin around. And I want to get to it because I keep saying I'm going to talk about it and I can't, and we're getting sidetracked. AG, thank you for the super chat. Over 500 viewers. Congrats, guys. Thank you very much. Yes, I appreciate it. Welcome to anybody. If you are new here, welcome. Thank you for showing up. We have an awful lot to talk about. If you guys are invested in Bitcoin or the Bitcoin miners, congratulations. Even though there's not very much activity at the moment and we're a little bit sideways, I think this is the beginning of what is going to be a spectacular 2024 for Bitcoin.
So let's talk specifically about the ETFs, Tom.
Okay.
The ETFs. Now, if they have $1 billion tomorrow and they go out and, sell additional shares, does that mean how long do they have to buy Bitcoin?
They have to buy it immediately. Everything has to be in an ETF. It has to be supported by the underlying asset. So as money goes in, and remember, it's not their, BlackRock and ARK Invest and Grayscale, it's not their money. People are going to invest in, I'm just telling this for everybody. People as individuals invest in these ETFs. The ETF has to, this is what a spot ETF is. So that was the question a while ago that we said we were going to talk about. What is a spot ETF? There has been a Bitcoin ETF for quite some time. Stock ticker BITO is a Bitcoin futures BTF. Stock ticker BITX is a leveraged Bitcoin ETF. But, all right, the difference is those are futures ETFs. Those two ETFs are not required to hold any Bitcoin at all. A spot ETF, and this one, obviously we're speaking specifically about Bitcoin, a spot ETF is required to hold the underlying asset. So as a result, as these gigantic companies, and remember, BlackRock's the largest money manager in the world, and several of the companies on this list, we'll go through the list. There's 11 of them that were approved. So that was another thing that was, a big question mark. Are they going to, are they going to approve one of these, or a bunch of these, all of these? Well, it looks like, if we're to believe this, and we'll continue to verify this, that all 11 of these are now approved. Okay, Darren S., thank you for the super chat. Darren S. said, there is a link to the SEC website approval in the members-only Discord. It's real, and...
I'm, just so you know, Tom, I'm changing to it is 100% real. You want to know why?
Yes.
I'm on my Charles Schwab account, okay?
Okay.
And now under equity, it says stock/ETF.
Under the Grayscale.
No. Just under, like, if you're going to buy an option, a spread, or anything, it says equity. So you have equity, you have hedge funds, you have options. It says stock/ETF.
Well, there's thousands of ETFs.
Wow. Well, I never noticed it before.
That is not positive confirmation, George.
Okay. I still don't see it in the SEC website, by the way.
Do me a favor, George. If you can go into the members only Discord.
I did, but that this, everybody. Here's the thing, though. I think what's happened, and this would make sense with the SEC, is that they've give permission to the individuals, and they didn't tell us as the public because they're here to protect us as the public.
Darren is saying he provided a link in the members only Discord to the SEC website saying that this happened. So I don't know if you're able to. If you can if you can go into the Discord and check that out, I would appreciate it.
Yeah. Alex Hawk just wrote, it's not on the SEC, so it's not real.
It's not on the SEC.
Here we go, SEC. Thank you, whoever, GG. Here it is. Yeah, here it is.
You see it? It's real.
Yes,
it's there.
It is real. It is real. Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna go from this moment forward. We're gonna go under the premise that this has occurred. So until proved otherwise,
this is 100%.
So this is a very muted response. I am surprised from a trading standpoint. I'm speaking about. It seems like this, this is very sideways activity. Yesterday's fake out, I don't know what to make out of that. We'll get into that more later, but let's just get back and finish up our talk about this, what these Bitcoin ETFs are, and why I believe this is the biggest catalyst to Bitcoin that's ever happened by a mile, in my opinion. So the spot ETFs are, unlike the futures, the spot ETFs are required to hold the asset. So as these ETFs grow, more and more Bitcoin will be purchased by each ETF. There's 11 of these. So first of all, they're going to be competing with each other. The first thing this does is there have been literally trillions of dollars that, from a cryptocurrency and Bitcoin standpoint, have been on the sidelines that have not had access. So if you have a retirement account, you can't go buy Bitcoin in your retirement account. Well, as of now, you can, because in your retirement account, you can buy ETFs. ETFs are regulated by the SEC. They are just like a stock. So now all of that money now has access to Bitcoin. So as people buy the ETF has to buy the Bitcoin. So from a demand and supply standpoint, and that is the economics of Bitcoin. So that's why I'm saying this is, for each individual, it's not the same. You may believe, you're not your coin, not your keys, not your coin, but from a supply demand situation, this is going to take a massive amount of Bitcoin out of supply, right? There's only a few million Bitcoin on chain as it is right now. So as these companies, and I do not believe that tomorrow they're going to go out and spend, hundreds of billions of dollars. That's not how this is going to work in all likelihood. I've been saying for a long time, they're going to ease into these. Yes, there may be a little bit of a push in the beginning, but not enough to change the supply equation. But as, to put it in perspective, the Grayscale Trust, which will now be an ETF, I believe they have like 500,000 or 600,000 Bitcoin. So somebody double check me on that. But so as these grow, if they take 1 million Bitcoin, let's say over the next 18 months, they all together have 1 million Bitcoin. That would be a very low estimate, in my opinion. I think it will be a lot more than that. And again, that won't be tomorrow. So this is going to be a gradual process. But what it does do is every single day from now on, in addition to all the buying pressure that has existed from the beginning of time until now on Bitcoin, this is additional buying pressure. This is additional demand. And this, remember, these are massive. Just BlackRock has over $9 trillion under management. Now, obviously, they're not going to go invest $9 trillion today, tomorrow, the next month, the next year, but some portion of that, 1%, 2%, 3% over time, will probably end up going into, their ETF from their own pool of money. And remember, other people can buy into their ETF. The other piece of this that George has mentioned several times, all of that doesn't include the retail investors. There are a lot of retail investors who are uncomfortable or unfamiliar with Bitcoin. This is going to introduce Bitcoin to the rest of the retail universe who they weren't going to go get a wallet. They weren't going to do all the cryptocurrency things that, maybe a lot of you are very comfortable doing. But, a lot of people are still ignorant to what cryptocurrency is. And I use the word ignorant in the literal sense, not in a negative way, right? It hasn't been explained to them. They're not exposed to it and they don't know what it is. So this is going to put it on their radar and it's going to give them extremely easy access. This will be no different than buying a stock. So, and now that this has occurred, it doesn't go away. So when I say it's the gift that keeps on giving, this will continue to put pressure on the demand. And as it puts increased pressure on the demand, remember, because they have to buy these and hold them for everybody who's invested, the supply on chain, the available supply will continue to diminish. There are 70+% of the wallets out there have not traded a Bitcoin, have not sold any Bitcoin in over a year. So the people that hold a lot of the Bitcoin, they're not selling. You know, they're certainly not selling on a small move, right? There have been massive ups and downs, and those people have held through all of that. So the supply continues to decrease. This is going to have an additional effect on that. So this affects both sides of that equation going forward. I want to get to Clive. Clive, thank you very much. Very generous. Thank you for the super chat. Clive said, finally able to add Hive to my investment portfolio, securing 25 contracts at $2.26 each with a strike price of $4. Set to expire in January of 2026. I'm planning to acquire an additional 25 contracts soon. Clive has been, for those of you new to the channel, Clive has been updating us. He has been doing leap options. For those of you familiar with options, if you're not familiar with options, please be careful trading options. If you are, then you know there's leap options are longer term options. Clive's had an outstanding portfolio and an outstanding performance. And I do want to say to a lot of you who are new to the channel, we have had a lot of people that have been with us for several years, and several of our members have been kind enough to share. We've had a lot of people have six-figure days trading Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. So 2022 was very, very difficult. It was a crypto winter. It was very difficult for Bitcoin. It was even much worse for the Bitcoin miners. There was a period, there was about a 3.5-month period in 2023 that was very difficult for the Bitcoin miners as well. We came out of that, and they've had a huge run, and we've had a lot of people in our group have some massive, massive success. So I want to congratulate all those people for their massive success. I think this is just maybe the biggest step yet towards the next leg up. I will tell you, I'm a little bit stunned as to this sideways, almost nothing volume, almost nothing price action. So let's see what happens. And I'm surprised, but I'm actually encouraged. I'm surprised at the volume, but I'm encouraged at the price action. I did think this would be a golden opportunity for them on a very short-term basis to try and shake out a lot of the weak hands. Now, they just did that yesterday with a fake out, whether you want to believe it was intentional or by accident, whatever the case may be. A lot of people got liquidated. A lot of other people just ran for the hills when things started going down. So some of that happened yesterday, but we really didn't get that today. We're incredibly sideways. The real Gary Ginsler, thank you for the super chat, said, show me on the SEC website, Tom, where it's approved. I have not seen that approval.
Just so you know, I have cut and paste. I'm going to do it again. Here, I keep pasting the link for people.
Is it on the SEC's website? Because I'll just go there.
Yes. It will take you a second to get to it.
All right. Well, give me a minute and let me pull up the SEC website, and let's see. Let's go straight to.
You can go to the rule.
Okay, it's not in their press release. Where should I go?
Wasn't there. It says you have to go to the rules.
The rules?
Rules, Roxanne. Hang on, I'll send it to you. Can you see my chat in Zoom?
Zoom? Oh,
there
yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Sending me that in Zoom. Aha.
Yeah.
Thank you, George.
Click on that. You can bring that up on the screen. I mean, if it's a fake.
Well, this is the SEC. Okay. Hold on. I'm going to show you guys what George has provided. I
got it because members gave it to me.
Okay, so the members have given. So you can see in the window here, this is sec.gov, pursuant to yada 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 yada. Okay. Sorry, I've got tech support helping me. I think we have a problem with the screen. Thank you very much. All right, so apologize for whatever happened. I don't know if the screen went blank, but it looks like we should be back. Okay. Pursuant to the SEC Act of 1939, filed with the Securities and Exchange Commission, proposed rule changes to the list traded shares filed. The New York Stock Exchange proposed to list the Grayscale, Bitwise. Okay, this says they propose. NASDAQ proposes to list the traded shares. Okay. George, did you read this? Is there clear language in here that, I mean, this says this is all proposed. Has this happened? After careful review, the commission finds that the proposals are consistent with the Exchange Act and the rules and regulations thereunder applicable to a national securities exchange. All right, I'm going to read this language. This is an awful lot of language that is not crystal clear. When considering the previous proposals to list Bitcoin-based commodity trusts and Bitcoin trusts, the commission has explained that one way an exchange that lists Bitcoin exchange can meet the obligation. I don't think this is an approval. In the Grayscale order, the commission determined that the proposing exchange has not established the CME Bitcoin futures market was a market for significant size. This is something from the SEC website. I'm going to go off of this page and we can read more into this later, but somebody show me the exact language in there that says this is an approval, because none of that seemed like an approval to me. McNally Money, welcome to the chat. And yes, congratulations to everybody. Congratulations to you as well.
So Tom, you don't see that as an approval, but what about the companies coming approved?
We're getting spammed here in our chat. Oh. You know, somebody let me know. I did not see anything in there. Edmund said, Tom, please quit fighting it. Edmund, it is important. This is information that affects everybody, so we're going to vet this information. Anybody that's not vetting information they get is just, you know, you've got to do, this is due diligence. So I'm not saying it's false, but you guys just read that with me. Not one word of that I just read said that those were approved. I'm not saying it's not approved. Just there was not one word of what was in there that I read. Now, I did not read that cover to cover.
You want me to read it cover to cover?
Edmund, I am not going to drop it. I'm just telling you, we're going to vet this out, right? We would let, all we're looking for is positive confirmation that this has happened. If you're not interested in that, then, you know, I'm pretty sure the rest of the people are interested in knowing that this is, in fact, accurate information.
Well, it says proposed rule change to list and trade shares of the following.
Okay, so that's a proposal. That is not an acceptance.
This is why Tom's an accountant and I'm not.
I read this stuff for a living, guys, so I'm not saying that it happened or that it didn't happen. I'm just saying you've got to be very careful when you're reading documents like this. So we need, you know, it would be nice to see something definitive. Now, the most definitive thing that I've seen is a bunch of the news channels have picked this up and confirmed it. However, you know, they did that yesterday as well. Mark said, best to be like Tom, cautious and thorough due diligence without emotion. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate that. And I'm not trying to throw cold water on this, but, you know, aren't we all going to be sorry if we're making a bunch of trades on this and it turns out to not be true? So,
okay, hang on. It says this order approves the proposals on an accelerated basis.
Okay, so that's language that sounds more clear. Is that in here? And if so,
Yeah.
what page? So let's get to that, because that could be some...
It's just this page 3.
Page 3. Oh, boy.
Top paragraph. Right above that. Right there. Bottom line. Right above the...
After careful review, the commission finds that the proposals are consistent. Above this?
Yeah, the last sentence of the page right there.
Each of the foregoing proposed rule changes, as modified by the prospective amendment, is referred to herein as a proposal and collectively as the proposals. Each trust described in a proposal is referred to herein as a trust and collectively as the trust, as described in more detail by the proposals. I'll stop this soon if this is boring, people, but I just want to get to the bottom of this. And collectively as the trusts, as described in more detail in the proposals, respective amended filings. Each proposal seeks to list and trade shares of a trust that would hold spot Bitcoin in whole or in part. This order approves the proposals on an accelerated basis. Note 18. In approving the proposals, the Commission has considered the proposals' impacts on efficiency, competition, and capital formation. So without going through the rest of it, to me, that seems like the most definitive thing that we've read. So
you went to 19, by the way. You didn't go to subsection 18.
Oh, C. Oh, sorry. C infra section 3. Oh boy. You see what I'm saying? These documents, it would be nice if they just said approved, and where they could do that is on their website in some type of summary format versus this detailed filing. You can see all these footnotes. Like, a lot of times these things do not mean exactly what they may appear to mean on the surface. So I'm not gonna
I'm going to that section right now if you want to keep doing something else.
Yeah, let's keep moving along. And so, I'm going to do this as well. I hate to rely on the general public, but the NASDAQ, says the U.S. SEC approves 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs. So, and then it brings up the Reuters article. So it's a vicious circle. Again, I'm going to go under the assumption that this has happened, but I would love to see something extremely definitive that this has happened. While we approve the listing and trading of certain spot Bitcoin ETP shares today, we did not approve or endorse Bitcoin. Okay, so apparently somebody's letting us know that's some language in there. So okay, so that if that language is in there, I mean, that's pretty crystal clear, with the disclaimer that it's not an approval or an endorsement of Bitcoin, but they're approving the ETFs. Okay, Midway's saying Gensler released a statement now too. So again, we're going to go under the assumption that this has happened until proved otherwise.
In section 3 of the accelerated approval of the proposal, the commission finds a good cause to approve the proposals prior to the 30th day after the date of the publication of notice of exchanges amendment filings in the Federal Register. So I don't know if that means it's going to take another 30 days.
This is what I'm saying. Until you trying to quickly glance through a federal document like that is at your own peril.
It might take another 30 days from whenever that is. So it's a proposal prior to the 30th day after the date of the publication of the notice of the exchanges amended filings in the Federal Register. So there must be another publication called the Federal Register.
Go to the last paragraph of the last page, number 22, under conclusion. It says approved. That is from Ken Neighbors, who is a member. Thank you, Ken, so that we did not have to read that entire thing. If you want to do that, George. And again, I'm not trying. I know this is maybe boring some people.
I think it's approved, but I don't think it's going to start tomorrow.
Can you go to page 20, number 22 on the last page, under conclusion? Apparently, I guess I can do that too. And then I'm going to move on, because I know some people are getting bored of this segment of the program, and this is not what we came on to discuss.
It says approved on accelerated basis by the commission.
And hereby approved on an accelerated basis by the commission. That sounds like approved. I mean, approved sounds like approved. I know some of you may think I'm being a stickler, but we did just get duped yesterday. We do have a very, very low trading volume going on here. So, but again, we're going to go with it, right? We're here. Everybody's here. I think that until we hear otherwise, the news is running with this and saying that it's approved. Midway said Gary Gensler put out a statement, released a statement that it's approved. So
he also said that he doesn't endorse Bitcoin.
But I expect that. To me, that's exactly right, because this is not the SEC saying they approve or endorse Bitcoin, and that's an important distinction. This is them saying we're going to allow a spot ETF. So
Tom, let's say you got an extra $100,000, okay?
Yes.
What would you buy? Would you buy directly into Bitcoin, or would you buy Bitcoin miners?
I would do what I have been doing. So for me personally, I have a combination of, Bitcoin, and I actually have been in the Bitcoin ETF, futures ETF. So I will move that into the spot ETFs because of the reasons that I talk about. I do think it's very important that the money is in. If you're not directly in Bitcoin, then to be in the spot ETFs will have the same impact on the supply demand pressure for Bitcoin, because the ETFs will have to fund and buy the Bitcoin. So that's where I will be putting. Having said that, I will remain, and on the dips, I will continue probably to add to my positions in the Bitcoin miners. So for those of you who have been with us for a long time, I think there's we're very early in the Bitcoin cycle. I'm going to show you guys a part of the Bitcoin cycle and where we are in the 4-year cycle. Now, the 4-year cycle doesn't necessarily automatically have to repeat, so we do not know for a fact that these 4 years are going to act like the previous cycles. There have only been 3 cycles prior to this, so we don't have enough data to, say things conclusively, but they have resembled each other greatly, and this one is off to a better start, by far than particularly the last cycle. So we'll go through that and talk about where we're at in the cycle. The Bitcoin miners, in my opinion, still have a long, long way to run. For those of you who are new, we have a series of deep dives. There have been a massive, massive amount of press releases on, what the Bitcoin miners are doing. They're increasing, several of the Bitcoin miners, Riot, Marathon, first of all, if you have not seen Marathon's performance for the month of December, it was off the charts, record breaking. And I'm not a Marathon cheerleader. For those of you who are members or subscribers, there have been months where I like what they did. There's months where I don't like what they did. But what Marathon did in December was absolutely spectacular. I gave them an A+. It was record breaking. I did do a deep dive on that if you want to check it out. So, they've bought a lot. They have a massive growth plan. Riot has a massive growth plan. CleanSpark just put out a press release with a massive growth plan to increase the amount of exahash they have, which will increase the amount of Bitcoin that they mine. Now, we do have the halving event, which will cut the reward in half. Now, with the fees counted into that, it will not be quite, the amount of Bitcoin that they produce will probably be more than half. So, the fees help, and the fees have been up quite a bit. So we can talk more about that as well. Let's end this poll. We're going to say this is done. This is a done deal. I know some people were very frustrated as we discussed trying to get to the bottom of this, but listen, this is what, this is how we do it on this channel. Usually you guys don't have to watch the painstaking, boring process of me trying to vet information. But this is a little bit, and you may think it's overkill, but I try to make sure, if I'm trying to pass along information, and again, this is not financial advice, but I'm trying to pass along information as best as I possibly can. And I do spend an awful lot of time reading in detail. So for me, in a quiet moment, I will read that thing we were looking at from cover to cover, just so that I understand the nuances of it. But that's, that's what I do. So, that's just, that's not for everybody. And I know everybody doesn't have time for that. And it will probably be very boring to a lot of people. But, financial statements, quarterly reports, all that kind of stuff that's what we talk about a lot on here. That's what I consider my due diligence. Yes, we do technical analysis on this. So, I look at technical analysis on Bitcoin and on the Bitcoin miners, and I think there's some validity to that. But we like to put a whole piece of the picture together with the fundamentals, with the technical analysis, obviously, geopolitical events, outside events like this. The Bitcoin spot approval is a massive, massive event. It feels like a little bit of a letdown here. And, because there is very low trading volume and Bitcoin has not moved in either direction. So I am surprised at. Elena said, Tom, I love your channel and your community. It's keeping me sane as a new to miner investor. Well, thank you, Elena. I'm glad. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to help. And, yesterday's members only live stream was confusing because we had actual fake news that turned out to be false. So today, we did get what is the real news, and it's a little bit of a non-event from a price action standpoint on
and I
Bitcoin.
think that's why yesterday happened, by the way. I think that was the reason why they did what they did, and that was all planned to screw with people today, because they're here to protect our best interests.
Well, and a lot of people may have gotten out, ahead of this. So if people sold out ahead of this, and George, you can tell your story. You ended up where you started, but for a minute,
Oh, dude, I made like five. Oh, never mind. I made really good money doing it. It was fine. I knew it was gonna drop. It dropped to like 44 or 5. But I got out at like 40, just under 46. I was like 45.8, and then I got back in at like 44.8 or something like that.
So that was all today. You were able to swing trade today, which is not what you've done with the cryptocurrencies, but you did do that today, and it did work out for you.
And Bitcoin's making a healthy recovery, everybody. We're at 46,026.
Yeah, we're over 46,000. This is great. We did pop up. I'm going to go to the 1 day because it gives a little more clarity. Right, 2 days ago.
Hang on a second. There is a letter from Gary Gensler. Thank you, Crypto Fever. That was just put up just a few minutes ago, talking about how they are approved and how he doesn't endorse crypto, but he had to do it because of the Court of Appeals.
So
they failed to describe why it shouldn't have been approved. So I would imagine that this is all, they wanted this type of reaction today. They didn't want to see a humongous pump before tomorrow because, they get in tomorrow when the market opens.
So Midway, who is a member, thank you very much for being a member, said the SEC rolled this out in a very stupid way.
Yeah.
So I do think, between yesterday's, between their Twitter/X being compromised, if you will, and having a false approval, and now today doing this in, why that statement from Gary Gensler right there, that's all they needed to do. That answers the question right there. That's very simple. Like one sentence answers all of the, puts all of this debate and question marks to an end. So I'm glad that ultimately he did that. And it hasn't been that long. So we had about an hour here in the middle before Gary came out apparently and gave us the total clarity. Mark is saying, Tom, total inflows are increasing. So let's see. So we have a winner. Yeah, so I think, again, let's reiterate, like, this is not a one-day event. So, which is what we've been talking about on the channel for a long time. You know, whether this was if this was going to be a sell the news, it was not going to be, this isn't about the news. It's about the spot ETFs themselves and what they're going to do for Bitcoin on a going forward basis. So you can say we now have a green candle today. 2 days ago, we had a huge green candle in anticipation of this. We ran up to, let's see, 47,330 according to the chart I'm on. This is TradingView. This is the Coinbase TradingView chart. So we got up to over 47,000, but you can see, to me, this is a breakout. If we look at the chart, we spent, this was about a month right here. I have a green line at around 44,192, so just over 44,000. You can see only one candle right here. We had one daily candle close above that number. The rest, we've been in a sideways trading range. We've been in consolidation for about a month. This is now day 3. We had a very big candle up. We had a red candle, but this candle opened and closed, and 100% of the day stayed above this line. And now the day we get the approval, this candle has now turned green, and we are inching up. So this does seem to be, there was not a big sell-off. I think a lot of people were worried that, particularly in the short term, there was going to be a big sell-off. We have talked on this channel a lot about the fact that if there was a big sell-off, I would be buying the dip. Now, I'm always very careful to point out, a lot of times you go, you may think in your mind, oh, I hope there's a big sell-off and I can buy the dip. A part of me always says, be careful what you wish for. I don't ever wish for a big sell-off or hope for a big sell-off. If and when there is one, this is Bitcoin. Right? The cryptocurrency universe is extremely volatile. In the year 2023, Bitcoin itself was up over 150%. So it was a phenomenal, spectacular year for Bitcoin. Inside of that, there were 3 separate times when Bitcoin had a pullback of 20% or more. So that is the type of volatility you can get even inside of what was an extremely bullish, extremely positive bull run for Bitcoin. So we will get pullbacks in the future. The volatility will continue here. So I think that's why, you never have to wish for a pullback on any given day. Just wait for it. You're going to get one. I continue to dollar cost average. And again, this is not financial advice. I will never tell you guys what to buy, what to sell, any of that, because everybody's situation is different. Everybody has a different risk tolerance. Everybody has a different time frame. Everybody has different investment goals. So, everybody needs to do their own thing. But I do let you guys know, for me, I've been buying the dips and I've been dollar cost averaging in for several years now. I did not sell a single one of my Bitcoin mining positions going into this event at all. I did buy a very small, I shared with the members yesterday, I bought a very small amount of puts, thinking if there is a pullback, and I make a few dollars on my puts, I can sell the puts and invest them into Bitcoin miners. But, those are tiny, tiny trades. So I just was going to hold and, if there was a dip, buy the dip. Also, it's very early, right? We're an hour and a half into this news. We may yet get a dip for all I know. So that's the other thing I always...
Now it's taken off, just so you know.
Yeah, it looks like we're getting a push to the upside now. Let's see if we can break out of the day's trading range. Yeah, yes. As we speak, we're about to break out of the top. Well, I don't want to speak too soon.
As Tom is talking, I'm buying stocks and trading. Just you shoot what happens. Sorry. Boom, baby.
I want to say AG
Boom, baby. Sorry. No, Cleanspark's finally taken off. It's up 7% now.
All right. After hours?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes,
yeah. And Cleanspark got beat up a little bit in the afternoon today. So I want to say AG, who has been a member for quite some time, left a comment. Tom ain't kidding, folks. Went from minus 60% to plus 55% and paid off my mortgage. So AG, who was a member, was able to, through the course of this bull run in 2023, go positive and pay off his mortgage. So these are the types of stories that we hear. And I do think the majority of this run is still ahead of us, right? Not to discount the year 2023. Up 150% is a phenomenal year. And the Bitcoin miners, many of them were up 2 or 3 or 4 times that in the year 2023. So, a lot of people made a lot of money. I think there's a lot more money to be made. We have a lot of people in here that, they're not afraid of these types of events. For those of you who are new to the channel, or for those of you who are new to Bitcoin and may not know a lot about the Bitcoin miners, it's one of the reasons we have this channel is to get together and have these talks and talk ourselves through the good, the tough times and the good times. More so than not, the tough times, because, it's easy to celebrate and be happy. You don't need a support group on a day where everything's going to the moon. But it is nice.
We did it for years, guys.
Yeah, we were here every day through the entire bear market for, a year and a half, and we just kept chipping away. And I know a lot of the subscribers and members kept dollar cost averaging. And let me get to Darren. I don't want to ignore his super chat. Darren, thank you very much for the super chat. Darren said, beginning 11/29, I backed up the truck on Mara calls, mostly January 12th. Some are already up 654%. So there you go. And, Darren's been a member for a while. He's been with the channel for a long time, and Darren has been provided a lot of information and comments. We do also have a members only Discord. We have a public Discord if you're interested. There's a link. We have a members only Discord. There's a lot less noise, if you will, in the members only Discord. I think we have an elevated conversation in there. And I know, Darren, thank you for you've brought some clarity and some information along the way. And congratulations on a 654% up. That's only a month and a half ago that you started that position. So these are the types of moves, right? For those of you in the stocks, some of the stocks were up 600% in a year. But when you're in the options, that can happen in, a week or a month, or, sometimes maybe even a day. Right. It does look like we're running into a little bit of resistance here at the highs of the day. So let's see if we can get another push and push through that and get back up. We did take a run on the fake news yesterday. We did get almost to 48,000. According to this chart, we got to 47,901. So, with Bitcoin, it depends on exactly which chart you're looking at, but we got to, just a little bit under 48,000 on most charts. So, it's entirely possible. Let's see if we get a run to the upside. But again, I will, don't be surprised if there's volatility. If we get moves to the upside, moves to the downside, because that is how this universe works. The crypto universe, the Bitcoin universe, and the Bitcoin miners are more volatile than Bitcoin. So if you're new to the Bitcoin miners, all right, welcome to Talking Investing. I would just say walk before you run.
Babe.
A lot
of push. Sorry.
And that's okay. A lot of these Bitcoin miners have made big runs already. But so big picture, I'm still very bullish that they're going to move up a lot more. But does that mean it's, starting today in a straight line up from here? No. So as always, please be careful investing, particularly in these highly, highly volatile, the Bitcoin mining stocks, and then obviously all the cryptocurrency universe.
Tom, I have a question. Does this make these mining stocks more not as risky as they were before because of the spot ETFs?
So I don't think you can say that it decreases their risk equation. I do think that you can say this is, in my opinion, this is extremely bullish for the Bitcoin miners. And there's been a debate around that I think is worth talking about. So I want to follow up on that. I first want to welcome CC. Welcome to the Talkin' Investing Squad. Thank you for joining. Again, there's a bunch of content. There's a bunch of content, including a bunch of of the smaller, less popular Bitcoin mining stocks. There's a bunch of deep dives in the members only section. So if you want to check those out, those are probably worth a watch.
All right, welcome to Talking Investing.
And AG has just
Edmund, great juice. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Uh,
AG, let's see if the man, the myth, the legend gets a free membership. Nope.
All right, welcome to
AG
Talking
has
Investing.
gifted 10 memberships. So if you are a member, you are allowed to give gifts of memberships. Now, just so that everybody knows, AG is not playing favorites. When you gift memberships, it is the
All right, welcome to
YouTube
Talking
that
Investing.
selects whoever's on the stream. They select who gets them. I see some familiar names. A lot of people who have been with the channel for a long time. Crypto Golfer, I know,
All right,
was
welcome to
gifted a
Talking
membership. Scapegoat, some other farmer. I see. So Mark. So welcome everybody. DEFCON 2.
All right, welcome to Talking Investing.
So
Edmund, nice purchase today on CleanSpark under 10. That's awesome.
plan to hold for 18 months plus. So Edmund
tell
got
you
in
what.
at a good time today.
All right, welcome to Talking
Congratulations,
Investing.
Edmund.
I just hope my wife doesn't use her debit card because I just drained all the money out of the account and bought some more shares, by the way.
All right, welcome to Talking Investing.
Anthony is asking AG, what am I chopped liver? So Anthony, just so that you know, AG, when you give a gift, you don't get to pick who
All
it's
right, welcome
to.
Talking
So
Investing.
it's just the luck of the draw.
And I'm not allowed to give out any more gifts, just so you guys know. I get
Yeah,
yelled at.
George has tried to get a few people a gift, but it just hasn't worked
All right,
out
welcome
that
to
way.
Talking Investing.
So it is only $5. You know, obviously, if you know, that's everybody's in a
That's
different
awesome,
financial
babe.
situation. So if you can't afford that, then please don't. But if you can afford that and you're interested in the Bitcoin miners, just the deep dives on the Bitcoin miners, I think you'll find that you'll get your money's
Are we
worth.
ready for a new poll?
We are more than ready. What's our poll, George? I got one in my head, but what do you got?
I was just gonna say, what's the best investment right now in Bitcoin miners? Which one?
Can I do a quick poll before that, and
Yeah.
then we'll do,
Yeah.
because that's going to be, we had a round robin tournament on that one. I think that was a lot of fun, and it would be interesting to see if the results would be different. So
Starting to climb, baby. Starting to climb. Little pullback, but nothing major. But the volume hasn't picked up yet, right?
volume has not picked up. I mean, there's nice volume. It's decent volume. It's above average volume, but it doesn't seem like 11 spot Bitcoin ETFs were approved type volume. So once again, I have been faked out. I continue to, every time anything, you know, I always say, oh, you know, nothing will surprise me in this space.
And then
But yet
everything does.
everything surprises me. So I guess that's the way they do it. So super quick poll. Today is, what is it today? Wednesday? So will Bitcoin hit 48,000 this week on the ETF news? Understanding we're at about 46,000. We're at just under 46.5. So, you know, it's the next $1,500 up. Are we finally going to get, and the reason I picked that, I've got a green line at $48,240. I'll just go to the 1 day time frame. This goes all the way back to, this goes back to March 28, 2022. So not quite 2 years ago. That is the last time Bitcoin was at 48,000, was in March of 2022. We're now mid-January of 2024. So can we now finally get back to this line at 48,000? On our channel, we've been targeting this number here for over a month. And, you know, we had a bunch of consolidation. Is this the breakout? Can we get to 48,000? I'll tell you guys, my answer is yes. I think we get past that.
Dude, now I got goosebumps. They took it from me yesterday. Now I got them back.
Shall we take a look at a few of these Bitcoin miners and see what they're doing after hours?
Yes.
Okay, so Marathon is up just under 4%. You had mentioned CleanSpark was running. CleanSpark is up 6% after hours. And just so you know, this is the 6% CleanSpark gave back in the last few hours of the day. CleanSpark ended up down 5%. CleanSpark was green with a few hours left in the day, and then it just tanked. So it's got it all back. You know, if you bought in the middle, congratulations.
Let's see Hive and Riot.
Let's go. All right. Riot is up 3.47%, so that's a strong move. George has a vested interest here in Hive. Oh, Hive up 5% during the day, 4% after hours. Hive, a big mover. Let's check out the other. Oh, you know what? I'm calling HUT a Canadian miner, but that is no longer correct. With the merger of equals, HUT is now a U.S. company. They do have operations in Canada.
My goodness. Tomorrow's going to be amazing.
So HUT's up 3% after hours. Let's check Bitfarms.
Dude.
Bitfarms is up over 5.5% after hours. Cypher?
Yeah.
Cypher's up 5.8% after hours. Okay, so the Bitcoin miners, so like we just talked about, Bitcoin miners are more volatile than Bitcoin. So look at the, just as soon as Bitcoin started to move in the right direction, it was like it was on for the Bitcoin miners. And you can see if we go through, we didn't really talk about what the miners did today.
I'm thinking about buying any, guys. I know you're going to laugh at me.
Wow. And you didn't vote. We yesterday had a vote to do a potential deep dive on any. You rejected any, but now you want to buy it.
No, I'm thinking about buying. It's up 6.32% today. It's been hovering around $3. It's an 18-cent discount. There's a big spread on the ask.
Let's see. Will Bitcoin hit 48,000? So I said this would be a quick poll, so we're going to make this a quick poll. It seems to be an overwhelming agreement here. Will Bitcoin hit 48,000 this week? And we're at 46,400. So we're moving in the right direction. That is not a given. I would also answer, in my opinion, I would say yes to that as well. Did you vote, George?
Yeah, I voted. I said yes.
You voted yes? All right. So
yes.
Just a little under 90%. 88% of us think the next move is up.
I'm a gambler. Absolutely. Let it ride. Let it ride. Why do you think I waited till today? Why do you think I sold out yesterday? I feel that life's a gamble because every time you go outside, you don't know if you're coming back.
Well, that being the case, I'm not sure that is the best investment mindset, but everybody has their own strategy.
Woohoo!
Midway is answering a question that I think we were going to talk about, or giving his opinion, which I agree with. So Midway said and I think he's referring to the spot ETFs. I haven't followed along in the conversation, but he said, it won't suck much capital out of the miners. Most people who were planning to sell the miners already did the last couple of weeks. So I think this is a really big point, Midway. Thanks for bringing this up. I do not think that there's a big group of people that now that there's a spot ETF that they're going to go out of the Bitcoin miners and into the spot ETF. I don't think that's the audience for that. The people who are in the Bitcoin miners are probably a little more familiar with Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency universe, and they understand the nature of the fact that these move with more volatility. There is more upside. I'm trying to stay away from saying they're a leverage play on the Bitcoin miners because that turned into a long discussion. But either way, they move with greater volatility. Statistically, they move with 2 or 3 or 4 times the volatility that Bitcoin does. So, I think there's a crowd for that wants that additional potential upside. And so I don't think that's the group that's going to move into the spot ETFs. I do think there will be a lot of retail investors that start to learn about Bitcoin and get involved in something that, was too far on the fringe. But now, even with Gary Gensler coming out in his statement and saying, this is not an endorsement of Bitcoin, this makes Bitcoin mainstream, or it's a gigantic step towards making Bitcoin a part of mainstream investing. So I think that's the audience. I don't think. Go ahead, George.
You get a good quarter under your belt with these ETFs, and people are going to get real interested.
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. If Bitcoin can have, and the ETFs themselves, it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy. The ETF, the more people buy into the ETFs, the more demand pressure there is on Bitcoin, the more Bitcoin that comes off chain, and the more, the price increases. And obviously then the more interest there's going to be in buying them.
Sorry guys, I'm really excited. Darren S. Wolf is the boss. Dog. Sorry.
Thank you, Darren S. for the super chat. Wolf is the, oh, we didn't, well, let's take a look and see what Wolf is doing after hours. Wow. Wow.
Ooh, wow.
Wolf is up 8.5. Wolf had a nice day, up 4.43%. It's up another 8.5% after hours. AG said those candles are staying green, Tom. I love to see it.
Dude, this is awesome.
Yes, if you're here and you have not yet, please smash the like button. It does help the stream in real time. Ross said, hit the thumbs up. 528 watching.
All right.
LFG. Thank you, Ross. And thanks, everybody, for joining us on this stream. On what is a very, very, very big day. I think that there's the Bitcoin itself did not have the monster candle that maybe a lot of people thought. I will tell you, there was a crowd of people that thought we were going to have a monster move to the upside. There was a growing crowd. I'm going to show you an article that goes to this. There were a lot of people that thought this was, in the very short term, going to be a gigantic sell-off.
I did.
It did. So far, and I do want to say we're only an hour and a half into this. But I think if there was going to be a gigantic sell-off, we certainly didn't. That was not a knee-jerk reaction anyway. If things turn, you never know. One of the things about, the entire stock market, but Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners in specific, very oftentimes it's hard. These after-hours moves are very tricky. Unless you're actually trading and making money on these after-hours moves, I can't tell you how many times.
I don't agree with that statement, Tom. You want to know why?
With what statement?
The statement you're making right now.
Okay.
This is a once-in-a-lifetime event. I think those type of events, that if you don't take advantage of them, then you're just a fool. I just...
Well,
I know you're right.
What are you disagreeing with? Oh,
after hours purchasing.
I didn't say don't purchase after hours. What I'm saying is after hours, don't be surprised if you go to bed and it was up 8% tonight and you wake up tomorrow and in pre-market it's down 8%. That has happened. That happens more often than not, and maybe that's an exaggeration. But it happens extremely frequently.
But when you have major events happen.
This is a major event, but do you want to buy? So in other words, for instance, if you are interested in TeraWolf, did you wait until after hours when it pops 8%?
No, but I will say the first 30 minutes after hours were good numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, there was there was a window of opportunity here after hours to get in, right? Because things were sideways, undecided.
I bought a whole bunch of Marathon for the simple reason is I don't think it's necessarily going to be the best return, but I think it's very stable. See what I mean?
Marathon, let me go to a thing because I'm going to go right to your point. That's an excellent point, George, and I want to go to a chart. So this is on Yahoo Finance. They go through, they list every single day the stocks that had the highest volume of trading. Now, this is not from a dollar standpoint. This is from a number of shares traded. So once again, today, Marathon had the highest volume of trading of any stock in the stock market today in the US. Tesla was number 2. Marathon and Tesla have flip-flopped between 1 and 2, but our tiny little industry here that we pay attention to, which is the Bitcoin miners, has a stock that has the highest volume. Consistently, it's in the top 3 in volume trading for at least the last month now, every single day. So the Marathon is, it's the institutions have already long since gone into Marathon. It's the most well-known. They have the largest, currently, they have the largest amount of exahash. They have the largest amount of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. They mine the most Bitcoin per month by far. I'm not saying they're the best miner, right? That's for another conversation that we'll talk about. But by all those measures, they have in their December 31st, their December operational update, they let everybody know they now have $1 billion in liquidity, which would be their cash and Bitcoin. So, this is a company, to George's point, if you want to talk about, a safer play, if you will, and it's not fair to ever call any of these safe. There's risk involved in every investment everywhere. But, this is right now, like it or not, for the general investing public, this is the best of breed. Now, for those people deep into the Bitcoin miners, there's probably a great debate about that. In fact, we did a series of votes, and this did not win as the number 1 Bitcoin mining investment. I do think it finished in an unbelievably close second, though, didn't it? Am I remembering that right, George? In our little round robin vote on which one's the best investment last time.
What was number 2?
I thought it was Marathon.
Oh, was it? I don't remember. Dude,
well,
I'm so perplexed right now.
Are you looking for trades right now as we speak? Is that what's happening? Let me get back.
Dude, I'm not dude, I think this is like an opportunity to get 10% return tomorrow. But I don't know if I'm even going to get out tomorrow. If my whole goal, the way I try to invest, which it never happens, is get to the point where I can pull all my money out and then let it ride.
Pull your initial investment out.
Yes. Yep,
and let the rest of it just go where it goes. And that is a strategy. Phonebookson said, we're still at 500 viewers. Everyone share with your friends. Let's push to 600. So yeah, one of the ways we can do that, if you're here and if you have not yet smashed the like button, please smash the like button. Let's see if we can drive up to 600 viewers. This is a big day. This is a historic day for Bitcoin, for the entire cryptocurrency universe. Remember, the SEC has fought and clawed and scraped in every way against, having cryptocurrency get into the mainstream. Now, they've lost several very high-profile court cases as of late, one of which was against Grayscale, which is one of the Bitcoin ETFs that got approved here today. So we're still hanging here very close to the highs of the day, but we have not taken out the highs of the day yet. So we're at the high end of the trading range, but we have not had that push up. Let's see if we can get that push. Let's see if we, on the stream here today, let's see if we can get that push over 47,000. We're at just under 46,500. It would be nice to get over 47, see if we can run from there. We got somebody said, Larry Jones sent me. Thanks for coming. Thanks for showing up.
I'm just giddy, Tom.
I'm glad. I hope that everybody else is too. I hope everybody is excited. There's a very muted response to this, it feels like, in as far as the Bitcoin itself is trading, we're near the highs of the day, but, we're not off to the races yet. This is still extremely new news. It did drop. I guess technically it dropped just before the market closed. Is that when we found this out?
Right before the market closed, about 10 minutes.
Michael Anthony's asking, Tom, what will the new Bitcoin ETF trade under? So we'll need to look. There's actually 11 of them that got approved. So if you just do a search, what are the tickers for the Bitcoin spot ETFs? There are several of them. Some of the things that you guys may want to look into is these ETFs do take a fee, right? These are for-profit companies. They make money, so the fees vary. I think so far the smallest fee that I've seen, I believe, is Fidelity. Oh man, I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I think it was like
0.25, and I saw.
Okay, so that's what I was going to say. I think I saw 0.25. So if you think the same thing, then we'll double check that. I saw some as high as 1.5%. So, I think that's the next thing that's going to happen. These guys are all going to have to get competitive because, they're going to want to get quick adoption of their Bitcoin ETF. With 11 of these getting approved simultaneously, that's creating a lot of competition. I think that's probably a very good thing for the ETFs, for Bitcoin. And what's good for Bitcoin is good for the Bitcoin miners. That is one of the things that I will always stand by, right? The Bitcoin miners trade, on, I call it on a leveraged basis versus Bitcoin. And let's just take a look at a couple of charts here. Let's see if I can find. Doing that to me. Huh.
What?
That is not the chart that I pulled up. Here we go. Okay. So, all right. So, this is one of the charts that we put. So every weekend, for those of you who are new here, every single weekend, I put together an update of what Bitcoin did for the week, what it did year to date. We measure a few other time frames when certain things are happening. So we try to look at Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners in as many different ways as we can. Each month, I do a monthly update and try and, slice and dice the numbers. We get an awful lot of information in this space. So most of the Bitcoin miners, there's about 15 Bitcoin miners that put out a monthly operational update. Some of them are more informative than others. Some of them go into great detail. And at the year end, we did get some extra information. But what you're looking at on the screen right now, this is what the Bitcoin miners did in the year 2023. So from the first day of the year until the last trading day of the year. So that was December 29th was the last trading day for the Bitcoin miners. Now, obviously, Bitcoin continued to trade. It trades 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you can see, while Bitcoin was up 154%, you had, I won't even go to Core Scientific, which was in Chapter 11. It was kind of a unique story. That was up 1,800% in the year 2023. So congratulations to anybody in that trade. That was spectacular. Cypher was up 638%. Cypher is not a nano cap stock. It's not a micro cap stock. This is about $1 billion company. That's 638% move to the upside in 1 year. Bit Digital, stock ticker BTBT, up 605%. Marathon, which we just talked about, which is by far the largest. I say by far. RIOT is, they're now a couple of $1 billion larger by market cap than RIOT. RIOT actually was larger than them in market cap for a great portion of the year, but Marathon has passed them. And for the time being, I don't see that changing. They were up 587% this year. I'm not going to go through this whole list, but Bitfarms was up 561% in 2023. So that shows you two things. Yes, these trade at multiples. The Bitcoin miners that, and again, they're not all created equal. One of the things I've talked about is this is not throwing a dart at a board. There have been times where everything was to the moon. This is not a bubble. This is not one of those times. So you can see there are some of these that vastly outperformed the others. So that's all a part of doing your due diligence, having, picking the winners, if you will. But you can see a lot of these are 3 or 4 times the price action that you would have got on Bitcoin. And even just investing in Bitcoin was a grand slam home run in 2023. So the next logical question is, well, if my stock was up 500% last year, is there any more room left to the upside? I mean, a part of you, common sense would say, man, maybe that's the end of the run. I think for a lot of these stocks, there's plenty of room left to the upside. And if I can find it, I want to show you one more chart.
Nope. No, not too many sellers left.
Okay, so all of the Bitcoin miners hit a local high at the time. For some of them, it was not their all-time high, but in the month of November 2021, when Bitcoin hit its all-time high at 69,000, all the Bitcoin miners had a local high. From that high, you can see Bitcoin, as of I think last Friday, Bitcoin is still 39% below its all-time high as of that point in time. Look at where these miners are. So if you want to know, even after a 3 or 4 or 500% move to the upside, is there any room left to the upside? Marathon, for instance, which was up almost 600%, is still down 72% from its previous all-time high. So I do think Bitcoin is going to break its previous all-time high by a substantial amount. That's my opinion. So, that's obviously a part of your equation in an investment thesis. If you don't think Bitcoin is going to run, then you probably don't think the Bitcoin miners are going to run. But, so is there more room after a 600% move to the upside? Is there more room in Marathon? I think there is. Is there more room in Riot? They're still 67% away from their all-time high. Even the ones at the top of the CleanSpark is the best performing stock by this measure on the whole list, and it's still 53% away from its highs from November of 2021. And by the way, that was not even CleanSpark's high for the year that year. CleanSpark got about 80% higher than that earlier in the year. So I do think there's a lot of room left to the upside. Let me get back to the chart. I don't want to miss. I just saw Darren S. say Bitcoin's pumping. So we are now at the high of the day and just under $47,000. So this is really nice momentum. This is movement in the right direction. This is extremely encouraging. Midway saying people who want to front run the initial ETF investors on Thursday are buying now. So let's see on this price action. Let's just quickly take a look again. So look at TeraWolf. I'm going to press refresh.
Yes, you've seen. That's why I'm going nuts over here, Tom.
TeraWolf's up 10% now. What do you want to see, George? What's everybody want to see?
Look at Marathon.
We'll take a quick look at these again. Marathon's up over 6%.
CleanSpark, Riot, finally.
Riot's up just a little under 5%. CleanSpark's up over 8.5%.
Yes.
AG, who has been a member, thank you very much for the super chat. Watching this live with you fellas is epic. Thank you, AG. I appreciate watching it live with all of you guys, all the members, all the subscribers.
Great,
yeah, this
you know
this
how long we've waited for this, and everybody said we're idiots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, George remembers. We spent a year. I will tell you, I even now, if you look in the comments section over the last week on the Marathon video, I had somebody leave a comment in the comment section. I did deep dive on Marathon, and somebody left a comment, oh, this stock's going to be at 50 cents 6 months from now. So there's still a lot of people out there that have no confidence.
I say this to Tom all the time, and he forgets. There are hedge funds that buy these stocks, and they want you to, FOMO, whatever it's called.
Oh, they want paper hands. They want you to
They want
sell.
You to fold. And I can just tell you right now, tomorrow's just going to be such an unbelievable day.
We are now moving. It's wild because it's still, what I'm looking at does not look like gigantic volume. But listen, this is it's moving up. Old Jock, thank you very much for the super chat. Let's see. Gary has certainly done his damnedest to FUD the ETF. FUD has another meaning in Scottish slang, and Gary's a prime example. Here's to the future, and then Iris Energy with a rocket ship. Thank you, Old Jock. Let's check out what Iris Energy is doing. Yeah, I mean, you have to ask yourself, is it a coincidence that the rollout of the approval of this ETF was such a fiasco dating back to yesterday with this nonsense right here? Like, how many people did this scare out of the whole situation? And I will admit, as you guys watched in real time, I was skeptical for a half an hour on this.
We will know at about 9 o'clock tonight is when there's the push to pump Bitcoin or dump Bitcoin, and I have a feeling that's when we're gonna know what's gonna happen tomorrow.
So
it's at 9 o'clock.
Yeah,
between 8:30 and 8:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. tonight, when Europe wakes up and gets going, then you start to know what's gonna happen.
You think tonight? Or you think tomorrow morning?
No, I think tonight, because it seems to me from the time that I've been following Bitcoin, it's about 4 years now, and there seems to be 2 time periods that matter, and it's right around 9 o'clock, a.m. and p.m.
There is no.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I noticed that 9 a.m. more so, somewhere between 8:30 and 9:30 a.m. so many times, whatever is happening, all of a sudden there's like a pivot and it moves in the other direction.
Right. So that is when we're going to know. I mean, we're specifically going to know in the morning, but I can't even imagine what we're going to wake up to. Yeah, Asia's waking up to this if they haven't already, and they're being like, what? And I would imagine there's going to be a lot of people getting in. Yeah, we're at 47 now, Tom. I mean, wow.
We're just a few dollars under 47,000. I just wanted to get to
what was that?
Eric said Wolf is my biggest position, 40,000 shares. So that is a strong position, Eric. Yes. Congratulations. Let's just quickly go back and remind.
So Tom, when do you get out? When would you get out of these? Are you getting out like in the next month or two, or no?
Not at all. Not at all. So for me, I have long said, my Bitcoin mining positions, I will be holding through the peak of this cycle. So I'm not going to hold them forever. That's not an investment strategy. You can't just buy something and hold it forever. Particularly, obviously, these stocks are massively volatile. So far, over the course of time since Bitcoin was invented, and then obviously the Bitcoin miners weren't publicly traded for a significant period of time after that, but there has been a peak in the cycle, a blow-off top, if you will. We didn't necessarily get a complete blow-off top this time, but we got a gigantic move at, the typical time in the 4-year cycle. And to me, I intend to take a lot of profits at that time. So there are a few positions. For those of you who have been with us a long time, you'll know that there's, for me, for Bitfarms and CleanSpark in particular, and please, this is not financial advice. You guys need to do your own due diligence, pick your own stocks. Feel free to watch and I try and provide as much information as I can, but don't do what anybody's doing. When I say don't do what I'm doing, don't do what anybody's doing. You got to do you. Everybody's their own individual. But I built up past what I considered a full position in those 2 companies because I thought the buying opportunities persisted in a way that to me was just, they were unreasonably good buying opportunities in my opinion. So I intentionally went beyond where I expected to because the opportunity just continued. So I will take some profits at some point in the middle on those 2. And then, I will probably wait until the peak of the cycle. Now, George, as you always like to point out, investing's a fluid situation. So is that 100% in stone? No, I'm going to have to go, if things happen, investment plans have to be updated for, the information on the ground. But that's my strategy as it stands. And then we'll see how it goes. How about you?
I am not leaving any dry powder out of the game right now.
You're getting in.
I'm already. I did it during the stream as you were talking. I was listening and I made sure that I had everything invested. I deployed the troops to go seize other members to bring them back to me. Right?
Sure, that's right. And you've been, it's not like you went from 0 to 1 million. You've been in, but you got the rest of the way in. Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
TeraWolf's holding strong, up almost 11%. The ones that were leading after hours, let's see. Well, Bitfarms up 6%. That's nowhere near. What else was there?
Who said? I gotta tell a story to is it Heimel? I gotta tell you a little story real quick, Heimel. I did the stupidest trade ever in the last, I guess it's been in the last 30 or 45 days. Right before Cleanspark took off, dummy, sold calls, right? I sold calls?
You sold covered calls.
Covered calls. It was trading at $3.90 or something like that. Oh, I'm pure retail. $3.90, and I did a $7.50 covered call. That call, I won't even tell you, but it went into six figures at one point in time. And so then I got out of it, so I only lost, a lot less than 6 figures. So when you want to say that I'm a gambler, that was pure gambling, and that was stupid of me. But, you live and learn.
And also, first of all, let me interject because a lot of people just noted we just crossed 47,000. Bitcoin, 47,000. Congratulations, everybody who is invested. I hope you guys are minting money right now. This is one of the big things that we have been waiting for forever. So I wish we could have celebrated it from the top of the stream a little bit faster. I did spend some time in a little bit of confusion after yesterday's absolute fake information.
Right, we didn't want to give out the wrong information. I don't think anybody blames you for that.
That's what we're trying to do. Somebody was saying Marathon, Cypher, Wolf, and Riot in that order for short sellers. So if the short sellers are going to panic and get out, it sounds like Marathon, Cypher, TeraWolf, and Riot have the highest short sellers according to Nash V, who is a member.
Oh, I feel sorry for those guys. So realize those guys made worse decisions than me.
Bitfarms at $3.20. Here's the thing, George. Like, that trade did not work out necessarily for you, but, those were covered calls way out of the money. And it just so happened, it happened to be at the moment that all of a sudden Cleanspark took off and went to the moon. So, life happens.
Right, but and then what was interesting though is I did get out of it for, it was really low. It wasn't, I shouldn't say, it just, I don't like to say numbers, but it got like uncomfortably high, uncomfortable. I can't even talk. I'm so excited.
W Song, thank you for being a member, said, we are witnessing history now. Yes, we are. And it's funny, we're creeping up. We now are definitely getting some momentum.
Oh, Heimel, you're a bigger gambler than me there, Heim.
Nash V said 10 years waiting. Okay, so if we go from, when did this?
But Tom, you want to know what's interesting? And we haven't really talked about it. All of crypto is pumping right now, not just Bitcoin. So everything is pumping.
Let's go check that out. So we are up almost 5% in the last couple hours. It doesn't feel like it, but we are. So, you know what? Maybe I needed to do this. Whoa. There we go. Now it looks like what's going on. That is a gigantic move up. So I guess we're rolling now.
And the money hasn't even hit. I mean, come on. Are you crazy? I mean, I can't even think about it.
I might be. Let's see. Let's go to what George was talking about. Let's take a look. I'm just going to press refresh and make sure this is updated. Here's what's going on. Wow, look at Ethereum.
Yeah.
Bitcoin's up 11% in the last week. So let's look at today. Let's forget the last week. Bitcoin's up 3% today. Ethereum's up 2% today. Binance up 1.35. Solana's up 3%. XRP 2%. Cardano 3%. So yeah, all of this has now turned nicely green. So big turnaround for the top 10, actually the top 11, if you can see that. I'll scroll up a little so that you guys can get to the bottom of the top 10. Rounds out with Cardano, Avalanche, and at number 10, Dogecoin, which is up. But only 1.5% on the week. So out of the top 10, the big winner for this week, Ethereum started to pump. When Bitcoin nosedived yesterday on that fake news, Ethereum pumped. And it held on to those gains and has added to them. So
I'm happy to see my XRP up 6%. And the reason I think Ethereum pumped is because they're going to be the next ETF approved, if not XRP.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of the talk, and it's one of the reasons some people were predicting this was going to be in the short term a sell the news situation, is that because there are Ethereum ETFs pending, that the focus may shift away from Bitcoin onto Ethereum. So I think that there's room for the focus to be on both, because even if the speculative focus switches over to Ethereum, and that allows Ethereum to run, the fundamentals have changed for Bitcoin with these ETFs.
They're looking about 10% now. I mean, 682.
The Bitcoin miners?
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick look again.
Dude, this is awesome.
We're at 47,300. I'll just leave here briefly and check a couple of these out. Let's press refresh.
Stronghold is up 10%. Yes.
Nice. Where's Duckman?
Finally.
Which one was? TerraWolf was on fire.
When does we start worrying about the Bitcoin miners that aren't going to make it after the halving? When do we start worrying about that, Tom?
I think sometime 30 to 45 days before the halving, you're going to see some of the Bitcoin miners, and you've already seen some lag. Let me go back to this chart right here, which was, let me find the right one. What happened? Okay, so this was the year of 2023. So you're going to see Stronghold was actually finished in last place out of all the Bitcoin miners, up 52%. Any was up 72%. So in a year where Bitcoin's up 154%, these that underperformed, these weren't even a 1x. So I think that the market is worried about these four in particular. I think there's a few up here that the market is worried about, even though they've run up a little. Well, I'll say that I'm worried about.
Hang on. Oh, wait, I'll let you finish that. I just thought of something that we could do in the morning. Go ahead.
So I do think there's some of these Bitcoin miners that are going to start lagging behind. And I think it'll happen 30 to 45 days before the halving occurs. The money's going to want to get out ahead of that. I don't think they're going to wait for it.
Are you ready for what I just came across?
I'm ready.
Core Scientific cannot trade because of why?
Why?
After hours.
Oh, right. It's right now. It's over the counter.
Right.
So they're in Chapter 11, which they will be coming out of soon. But in the meantime, you cannot buy them in after hours trading.
So So how does that work in the morning with this stock?
It will gap, and if things hold, if this holds and Bitcoin runs overnight, it will gap up on the open. Meaning, whatever it closed at today, we'll look at it instead of speaking generically.
No, because this seems like it would probably be the best thing that we could get into, or at least
the problem is, so this closed at $1.65. So you're not going to get a shot to buy it at $1.65 in the morning. If this holds and all the Bitcoin miners are up 10 or 15%, then this will open, up 10 or 15, theoretically, and who knows, every Bitcoin miner is different, but it's not going to open at $1.64. It may open at $1.85 or whatever the case may be. So, it's that.
What if I put like a big order in at $1.75? It might get filled? Part of it might get filled?
You never know. You never know. You can put orders in. There will be a lot of activity. All right. So Andrew said 48's incoming. So switch your poll. This poll's over. Thank you, Andrew. Good point. And Midway said ETH is getting huge volume in this up move.
Oh, is it?
So, that volume is nice. The big volume is important because those are moves that are more likely to hold on larger volume. So this is a mess, but let me add the volume to this.
I can tell you why I'm fuzzy. Because I don't drink, but I feel drunk.
Whoops.
I think we're fuzzy because Tom has like really bad internet service.
What do you mean we're fuzzy?
We're always
You're fuzzy. No, you've got a background on and some special effects on, so you do not look at all. You've got a shadow going.
Ooh.
I don't know what you're.
Approved. Approved.
Bitcoin Spot ETF is approved.
The big alien.
All right, so the daily volume, just to take a look, and this candle is not closed yet, but Bitcoin's having some nice daily volume as well. It's not extraordinary, but it's nice volume. And again, I'm on the Bitcoin Coinbase. This is TradingView. AG, thank you for the super chat. Those new to the channel, these two grinded out videos and never stopped believing. A lot of down days. This is our day. Cheers. Thank you, AG, and thank you very much. And so did a lot of you guys, right? We did this together in a big way. Yeah.
It's just so nice to be here because here's what people don't understand. And I say this and I say it tongue in cheek, but it's really true. We have probably the wealthiest investors out of all of YouTube. Because these guys are smart. It's easy to come out here and do this when I get to talk to like Crypto Fever, and I know Darren, and I know Edmund, and these guys just encouraged us to stay with it. Like I was ready to give up too, just like give up the channel and walk away because it was so frustrating. I mean, you get hate. Hate all the way up.
As you guys can imagine, during the crypto winter, we got some not so nice comments in on our videos. We have done, by the way, for those of you who are new, we have done over
Jeff.
I
could go on. Sorry.
That's okay. We've done over 1,000 videos in the last 3 years. I think 12 or 1,300 videos. We just reached 2 million views, so those were a couple of big things for our small little channel here. So welcome to our small little corner of the internet and of YouTube. If you are new here, consider if you are interested in the Bitcoin miners, if you're interested in Bitcoin, consider subscribing to the channel. We did. Thank you for pointing that out, AG. We did grind this thing out. I mean, we did not stop all the way through, and it was rough, and we did take a lot of ridicule. But you know what? That's not important. Inside of the group, we helped each other, and
we stayed the course is what we did.
That's right. And that's an important part of investing. And, Bitcoin has a cycle. The crypto winter is brutal. It is. And it can feel like, every time it feels like this time's different. It's never coming back. We're doomed. And they do everything they can to it's FUD. The FUD was never ending in this crypto winter.
I gotta go, guys. I'm getting yelled at. I'll see you guys.
All right, George, have a great night. Thanks for joining us on this historic day
everyone.
for
Merry Christmas.
Yes, for Bitcoin, the Bitcoin miners. Thank you, George. Have a great night.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Let me switch over to all right. So thank you, George. That was George, everybody. King Hazy, thanks for the super chat. Do you think CPI numbers tomorrow can affect this? I have to tell you, I've been so wrapped up in this, I forgot that CPI data is CPI data tomorrow. Normally, that is something that we are all over on this channel. And in addition to the fact that we've been hyper-focused on the Bitcoin Spot ETF, I will also tell you, I think the time has passed for CPI numbers having a big impact on the market. It is now, we are now in a world where, like it or not, whether the Fed wants to or not, they've come out, they've showed their scatter dot plot, and we see they expect to lower rates in 2024. The market expects anywhere from 5 to 7 rate cuts, 25 basis point rate cuts in 2024, unless the CPI number is shocking. And I don't think anybody expects that. This number has gotten under control, and there are now bigger concerns. We've had very high, historically high interest rates, versus the last 40 years. And so I think there was a year or a year and a half where the CPI data was probably the most important day of the month. The CPI data, which was a precursor to the Fed meeting, those used to drive the markets, and including cryptocurrency. And so, Jerome Powell would talk at 2 o'clock on Wednesday, the day of the meetings, or 2:30, and, you would see,
All right,
massive knee-jerk reactions to that. And I think those days are behind us. I think everybody has now accepted, and that's not to say there won't be some super short-term reaction one way or the other, but I'm not expecting surprises on CPI in the short term. And I don't think it's going to move the needle, because I think if you go to, I've got this open somewhere. Let me take a look. Taking a second to load. Here we go. Okay, so I don't want to go to the January meeting. So the March meeting, this is where all eyes are. I will tell you, this was higher. So there's this, this is the FedWatch tool. This is what the futures are pricing in as far as a rate cut goes. So there's now about a 65% chance of a 25 basis point rate hike, a 2.7% chance of a 50 basis point. This was actually a little higher. This was about 15% higher. So people are a little bit backed off of March, but still the majority think we're getting a rate cut in March. By May, you're going to see, this is the next meeting. Now, now the almost entirely priced in that there will be a rate cut, at least one rate cut, if not two, by May of this year. So, unless this number is a shocker, I think we're probably in the clear on that. King Hazy, let me go back to the Bitcoin chart first so that I see what's going on. King Hazy, thank you very much for the super chat. Thanks for your dedication to this channel. You are welcome. And, I thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for watching the videos. Thanks to all the members and the subscribers. And for all of you who have been joining us on the live streams, we've tried to get out here on the days where important things were happening on the live streams. Today is turning out to be a very good day. We didn't know which way this would go, but as it turns out, it's the best of all, I think the best possible outcome that we could have expected. 11 spot ETFs are all approved. So that is fantastic news. Bitcoin has now run up to around 47,500. We did a poll earlier when we were down around 46,300. Do we think Bitcoin's going to get to 48,000 this week? So, we're $500 away from that right now. Let's see if this momentum continues. I feel good. This is some pretty consistent momentum over a couple of hours now, and it almost seems to be picking up momentum, so we will see. I don't know what the short-term impact of the spot ETF is, because as is the case with any news, the market can be manipulated. Even with the size that Bitcoin is, it's still, well, let's see, it'll be well over $900 billion now, but still less than $1 trillion. I know those are gigantic numbers, so I don't mean to, belittle the size of those numbers. We're at $929 billion market cap for Bitcoin. So while that sounds huge, right? NVIDIA all by itself is bigger than that. Amazon is bigger than that. Google is bigger than that. Microsoft's big, 3 times that size. Apple's 3 times that size. So my point of all that is that this is still a very small space. The entire cryptocurrency universe, if I scroll up, you'll see we're just under $1.8 trillion. So there's still several individual companies that are bigger than the entire cryptocurrency universe. So my point of that is, in the short term, these things can be pushed around or manipulated, if you will, for short periods of time. But that aside, these spot ETFs are, in my opinion, by far the biggest thing that has ever happened to Bitcoin. It's the biggest thing that has ever happened for wide-scale adoption. This takes literally tens of trillions of dollars that previously did not have access to buying Bitcoin that now has access. So obviously that will not all come in at the same time, but over the course of time, I would expect these ETFs, here's the first thing that I will predict, and I don't know this, and there may already be a list out that gives this information. I'm expecting to see a Bitcoin ETF commercial during the Super Bowl, right? We're about a month away from that. So I think you're going to see these companies go after adoption in a big way. They have worked long and hard over a long period of time. And over the last month in particular, it has been back and forth with the SEC to get these things in order. Grayscale had to sue the SEC. They went to court. They won their case, and they still had to jump through 1,000 hoops. So, they've journeyed a long way. So, I'm expecting big, big things. Thank you to Kudab for the largest single super chat in the history of our channel. So that is in celebration of the Bitcoin spot ETF. So much appreciated. Thank you so much. And congratulations to everybody. Listen, I hope everybody is making money today. I hope your portfolios are going up. As we speak, we're having a little bit of a pullback. We ran all the way up. And again, nothing goes up in a straight line. So, these are 15-minute candles. We're still at 47,100. Let's see if we can hold. It seems to be regrouping after, we were down around 45,000 a couple of hours ago. So we're now over 47,000. We're up a couple $1,000. We just pulled back a couple $100. We'll see where we go from here. Colton, thanks for the super chat. Colton, just in, confirmed. Thank you, Colton. You're even later than I am on confirming the spot ETFs. So, wow. George, I don't want to mispronounce your last name, so I won't. George G, thank you very much. That is a very generous super chat. I appreciate it. And George says, just wanted to thank you. You have no idea how much money I have made watching your videos. Well, George, I am very glad that you have made a lot of money. And I also, I appreciate that you would say that, but I will also always say right back, remember, you guys are the ones who, You guys are it's your money, it's real money, and you guys are the ones who had to pull the trigger and make the investments and hold these investments until they were profitable. And you know, the market did everything it could to drive people out of the Bitcoin mining companies in specific. So for those of you who made it this far, made the journey, got to this point, and are up big, absolute special congratulations and a big giant thank you to George. I appreciate that, and I'm glad that you are up big, and I hope a lot of the rest of you have had a similar experience. I know, you know, particularly our members and a lot of our subscribers, I do know, you know, you guys have shared over time that you've had some big success. And I just want to say, you know, I don't know the future, but I am extremely bullish on Bitcoin in 2024. So the main reason I wanted to have this live stream today, and the main reason I'm talking to everybody is, you know, as it turns out, at the moment, you know, we're having some price action to the upside. If we happen to have a pullback, and that could happen, I am not being negative. This is not FUD or negativity. Quite the opposite. If we happen to have a pullback, I think it will be very short-lived. And for me, I will take that as a buying opportunity. So the story has only just begun. These Bitcoin ETFs, these spot ETFs are fundamentally different than the futures ETF that existed. So even if they push us around a little bit and we retest some lines of support and we have a little pullback, and that may not happen, right? For the last couple hours, the pressure's been up. Now, we just pulled back $500 or $600, but we were up more than a couple of $1,000 in the last few hours. So, you know, a natural pullback. But I just want to, you know, this is a part of everybody getting together and sharing ideas. It is my opinion that if we do see a little bit of a pullback, whether that's today or in the morning, or, you know, whether it's 3 weeks from now, if we retest a line of support, I think we've only just gotten started here. I want to show a chart that I have not shown on the channel, just to put things in perspective. So this is zoomed out. This is Bitcoin on the 1 month time frame. So each one of these green lines is the Bitcoin halvings. So you can see, and obviously this line here is in the future and it's an estimate. We do not know the exact day. It will not be April 1st. We think it's going to be maybe the middle of April. And depending on how the blocks get solved, you know, it could be plus or minus. But so we are moving into a halving. Here's the last couple of halvings. You can see there's such dramatic moves that you can't even tell going back. But I wanted to put in perspective, this was the last halving, was in May of 2020. So this yellow circle, that's where we are right now in relationship to the 4-year cycle. So you can see from the last time we were at this point in the cycle, you know, up to the very top, we still had 675% run to the upside from this particular point in the cycle. So I want to stress, that does not mean that's going to happen this time. I will say that's actually the smallest one out of all of the Bitcoin cycles. But that is a monumental, monster move to the upside. Now, as Bitcoin gets bigger and bigger and this market cap gets bigger and bigger, we may not see these percentages, but my point is you'll see, you know, the real part of the typical 4-year cycle, the real part of the bull run has not, you know, we have not even begun that, if history is any indication. This last time around, we kind of had a double top. You'll see if I look at the previous one, you know, if I go from here to here, you know, that's 2,600% move to the upside from, you know, that was 2 cycles ago. So you can see we're still super early in the 4-year cycle. So there is no guarantee that this 4-year cycle will be the same as the previous 4-year cycles. Bryce is saying the pullback is coming. So, and now we can see a couple of red candles in a row here. So again, I just want to reiterate, I hope that you guys don't panic if you see some pullback, if we see some pressure to the downside. This is a game. This is a long-term game. And, this is not financial advice. Everybody has to do their own thing. You got to be able to put your head on the pillow at night and go to sleep. So if you're in an investment that disrupts your life, if you will, then, that's probably not something that you should be in. But otherwise, if this is your long-term investment money, stick to your thesis, have a plan, stick to your plan. That is what we really try to drive home on this channel. Just have a plan, do your due diligence, know your stocks. And if nothing has changed, nothing negative, and remember, today we have quite the opposite. This is gigantic news. This news has long-term ramifications for Bitcoin, and it is one of only just a few gigantic. There's very few steps that are going to be as big as this one that equate to mainstream adoption of Bitcoin. So, I think this will be somebody said we're witnessing history. When we look back, this will be one of the things they point to, one of the check marks, the checkpoints along the way. Oh, here was the day, the Bitcoin spot ETFs got approved. So there's going to be before that day and after that day. So I hope that you guys don't let any short-term volatility in one direction or the other discourage you and from sticking to whatever your plan may be. And AG is saying, listen to Tom, don't invest what you can't lose. So yes, I didn't come out and say it in those words. So thank you, AG. That's what I am getting at. Please don't, try not to invest money that, that you can't afford to invest, that you're, hoping or wishing is gonna, do the right thing, because the market can be irrational for periods of time. So you do not want to get caught in one of those situations where, you're investing money you can't afford to, and it turns into a problem. Crypto Fever said, just remember, folks, 60K to 70K in the next 1 to 2 months, maybe even sooner. So let's just take a quick poll. Okay, so quick poll. Bitcoin to 70K before the halving, which is in April. We believe. If all things stay as they are, it should be sometime in the middle of April. One of the Bitcoin countdown clocks pushed it back because we're having a little bit of an anomaly. This cycle, I don't want to distract everybody with this minutia, but for whatever reason, over the last week, or not even a week, the blocks have been taking a little bit longer to mine. And so, if everything were equal, we would have a big adjustment to the downside. I would just caution everybody. I think this is extremely unlikely. These things usually sort themselves out. That's why there's a 2-week period. By the end of what is typically about a 2-week period, this usually sorts itself out. And if we take a look at what's happened historically, just to understand, like these are the difficulty level adjustments, and you'll see green, the ones that are red, less than 1%, 2.5%. Almost all of these have been green, meaning the global hash rate is increasing. As a byproduct of that, the blocks are getting mined more quickly. So they have to adjust the difficulty level to keep, they want the average block to be mined every 10 minutes. So that's just a quick, for, many of you may already know that. For those of you who do not, that's how Bitcoin works. So I think we're expecting the Bitcoin halving somewhere in the middle of April. Michael Anthony said, Tom, have you looked at BTBT and why haven't you done research on it? So Michael Anthony, just so that you know, for for the smaller Bitcoin miners by market cap, and for there are certain Bitcoin miners where there's not a lot of retail interest. But having said that, for the members, I've done deep dives on a lot of these, and BitDigital is one of them. Stock ticker BT. So for those of you who are interested, we do have a membership. It's only $5 a month. You can hit the join button on YouTube. If you don't see that, there should be a link in the pinned comment below. It's only $5 a month. We probably have, 50 deep dives on all of our previous members only live stream. We do a members only live stream every Tuesday after the market closes. And just so that you guys know, in the last few months, I have done for the members a deep dive on BitDigital, stock ticker BTBT, Hive, Cypher, Stronghold, BitDeer, and I also did a deep dive on MicroStrategy. Although they are not a Bitcoin mining company, obviously they are a proxy on Bitcoin. They hold the most Bitcoin of any publicly traded company. That is the most self-owned Bitcoin. There are others who are custodians of more Bitcoin than that. Having said that, let's take AG said, I appreciate Tom's patience. He's spoken about BitDigital for nearly 50 hours. Thank you, AG. Coyote, Tom, have you done a deep dive on DMG? I have not provided a deep dive on DMG. That has never won. The members vote on which video I do. That has never won a vote. I personally keep up with my due diligence on that DMG blockchain. It's one of the smaller companies. I do like them. They're in the US, they're traded over the counter, so they're not actually traded on the. So that's another one. You can't trade in after hours here in the US. It's technically not traded on the NASDAQ. It's an over the counter. I like that company, so that's my super quick answer. But, obviously there's a lot of pros and cons. It is a much smaller company. I think so those always represent potential bigger risk rewards than the larger companies that we talk more about. But just quickly, I will just show. First, let's press refresh and see what TeraWolf is doing. So TeraWolf's still up 12% after hours. Now, DMG will not have had a move after hours. So in the US, which is where I am, this is traded over the counter. They have not gotten listed on the NASDAQ. So this is now an $87 million market cap. So it's a micro cap company. This is a very small company, but there are several micro cap companies that we follow that I have on my charts. So, $87 million, they're at 51 cents. And there are some good things happening here. But, as always, these smaller companies, I do think they're going to represent a higher risk going into the halving. So that's not an endorsement. I'm not telling you to buy this, and it's not a knock on them. I'm not telling you not to buy it. I can add that on our members only. I can add that to our vote next time and see if people are interested. I like this company. I don't own any of this company, not financial advice, but just letting you guys know, I don't happen to own any of this company, but I do think there's some interesting stuff going on with them. Back to the Bitcoin chart. Let's take a look at how our vote is going. So we're having a little bit of a pullback on the Bitcoin 15-minute time frame. You'll see we're now at 46,400. So this is what I was talking about 20 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago. Right now we're down 2 3/4% in the last half an hour. So expect volatility. This is a big part of the, crypto story, the Bitcoin story. So I'm not afraid of volatility. I think most of you understand that's a part of the deal here in the Bitcoin universe. So we got a nice move to the upside from the bottom. This was prior to the open of the trading day in the United States. So this was the opening candle here for trading for the US equity market. So, from the bottom of the open until the peak after hours, this was a 6.5% move to the upside. We've pulled back a little, but this was kind of our high on the day. We did pop above that, and it looked like maybe we were going to break out and keep running. So that's the thought that I would leave you guys with, is we're going to get a lot of volatility. So, I hope we have a great big giant green candle and, everything runs to the moon tomorrow. If it doesn't, I will probably take it as a buying opportunity. And for me, I always like to reiterate, no one day is an all in for me. So I don't care what this thing does. If it plummets, if it goes to the moon, I try to be pretty methodical about buying. I think it's always important. I like to always have some cash on the sidelines, to look for the next opportunity. So I'm going to wrap it up. The Bitcoin to 70,000 before the halving. Right now we're at 2/3, 1/3. So 2/3 have voted yes. We got a lot of votes on that. So we have some optimism maybe to get to a new all-time high for Bitcoin before the halving. If we do that, that will be the first time in the history of Bitcoin that we have ever reached a new all-time high prior to the Bitcoin halving. So we'll see. That doesn't mean it won't happen. We broke a lot of firsts in the last cycle, so there were a lot of things. This never happened before. That never happened before. Well, we got a lot of new stuff last time. I do think we have a very good chance at this. So, I think that's on the table. I think there's lots of room to the upside. Whether we get there by April or not, I'm very bullish on 2024. So I remain that way. And I think that this is, I don't want to underestimate and forget about the fact that this is the purpose of this live stream was to go through the Bitcoin spot ETFs. The answer to this was resounding yes. All 11 are approved. So I think that was our best case scenario. I think this is big news from this day forward, really. So, whether the market buys or sells this news in a very short period of time here, I don't care. I'm looking for the fact that I think this is a fundamental, massive change and improvement to the thesis of overall viability of Bitcoin as an investment, in my opinion. So obviously, we'll talk a lot more about this. I hope everybody has a fantastic evening. Thank you guys for joining. Everybody, thanks for the super chats. Also, for those of you who are new here, welcome, and please consider subscribing to the channel. And on your way out, if you don't mind smashing the like button, it does help the live stream after we're done as well. So thank you, everybody. Congratulations, everybody. Let's keep it running. We do have a regular live stream every Friday after the market closes. So we're already at Wednesday here. So 2 days from now, we will have our regularly scheduled live stream. So I hope to see all of you guys there. In the meantime, go Bitcoin, and everybody, congratulations and have a fantastic evening.